Wow, I mean, I don't know how I follow that. I am not talking about going to the moon or any other planet. I'm talking about something very simple. I'm talking about basically understanding us, understanding the human. The whole point of this event today is about how we use new, exciting technologies, be it blockchain, be it AI, in order to respond to human challenges. And so at the heart of that is understanding the human. So we need to understand where people live, what they do, what opportunities they have. Now, where we're sitting right now in Cambridge, this seems like a very simple problem, but it unfortunately really isn't. And I work with a UN research institute called SSN Trends, and we specifically try to support national governments around the world to improve the quality of their statistical systems. And census information is such a big problem. So right now, we're still dependent on decennial censuses. I mean, as I'm sure you will know, this has gone back. It was referenced in the Bible. I mean, this is really a very archaic, predominantly still paper-based method around the world. And frankly, with the 21st century problems, with the speed of change, with the dynamic environment we're currently living in, using these kind of approaches is pretty absurd. Now, that's not to say they don't still have huge value, and they are still essential, but we've got to up our game. Now, fortunately, about 15 years ago, a then group of applied utopians decided to just get on and fix this problem. And so we had innovators from NASA, from Columbia University, from all over, who started doing satellite-based population estimates, things like gridded population land scan, WorldPop. Hopefully you're all familiar with them. These are brilliant. These are high-resolution, timely estimates of kind of where people live, how many they are, their access to opportunities, and so on. And they tell us not only the population, but the kinds of settlements they're living in, the kind of infrastructure, and so on. But 15 or so years later, we still have a big problem. These are all using different methods. They all have different assumptions. They've all been built for different purposes. Some of them are sitting in universities. Some of the methods are controlled by the likes of NASA, et cetera, et cetera. And if you are a developing country government and you're just trying to get a really robust, timely estimate of your population, you just don't know which one to use, frankly, aside from your own census. And the differences also causes huge problems with spatial distribution. So if you look at the actual distribution of the population in these different data sets, they are wildly different. So I'm just going to give you a quick example from a project I'm about to talk about called PopGrid. This compares 4 different current timely population estimates, predominantly derived from satellite imagery, and they all have different pixel value. This is of the region around Cape Town in South Africa, and as you can see, the pixel value grossly affects the coastal definition and consequently the population estimates. If you look at this, we have got a differential of at least 50,000 to probably upwards of 500,000 in some of these estimates. So huge numbers. Now, if you're trying to deliver a service, if you're trying to deliver a set of vaccines, as was the case with a recent philanthropist trying to deliver a set of vaccines to northern Nigeria, they were looking at all these data sets, and they had a differential of 1 million people. That's money, that's time, that's wastage, that's health crises happening right now just because we don't have the right data. So what can we do about it? It's pretty simple. We've established a thing called PopGrid. It's ourselves, Columbia University, Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, and all these amazing people. And what we're doing is basically bringing everyone who's working on population together. And we're trying to say, you've all got the best methods in the world. You're the leading minds in the world. Let's sort this out, right? Let's come up with simple classification systems. Let's explain the value of different approaches, where, when, how. But most importantly, let's make it really accessible for the people who need it most, right? If you are a government official sitting in a country with a very poor census estimate or no census, as is the case of somewhere like Afghanistan, how can we help, right? How can we give them the accurate information they need to solve a particular problem? So that's where we need all of you. So the point to be here today is not to preach about population data. It is because my vision for this project is I want to start looking at how we can use algorithms and artificial intelligence to build interesting models that can take the most robust, timely estimates of data and apply it to specific policy challenges in different contexts. So you're trying to deliver a health program, you're trying to deliver a food program, you're trying to work on your agricultural supply. How can you make sure you've got the most robust population estimates for that particular challenge and you're guided to know what to use? So that's what we want to do. We want to make it accessible, user-friendly for non-statisticians, non-data scientists the world over. And we're also starting to think about how can we use things like blockchain and ledger technologies so that when you're using that really disaggregated, very high-resolution imagery that frankly raises all kinds of questions about data sharing, how can you use that to help better exchange this information between relevant parties and for the right purposes? So that's what we need your help on today. I'm going to be around all morning, so do come and see me and look forward to talking to you all. Thanks.